Many of you will know that I have a Scorpion exhaust fitted. I'm very pleased with it. It's a top quality piece of kit. What I have found on 2 occasions when cornering hard, that it slightly tucks down. Now, that didn't bother me overly, but now I've found that Scorpion have sent me a kit to fix this problem, which has got to be the sign of an excellent company. Now what I'm going to do is remove the old fittings and replace them with the new kit and see how that goes, and we'll do a comparison of what the differences are. 2 components in the box from Scorpion. One is a reconfigured bracket there, once again superbly made and top quality, and a reshaped downpipe. Now the purpose is to lift the exhaust box up slightly, and so the 2 together are what I needed for that purpose. But once again, this is fantastically well made, and I'm sure it's going to be a great fit, but we'll see that. Having removed the side panel, it exposes the bracket that's holding the exhaust on. This top bolt will need to be removed, and this one and the one on the other side there, the lower down ones, only need to be slackened because the bracket actually lifts off those. Next, before I start to do that, I'm going to undo the 2 bolts into the manifold which hold the exhaust on. This will give me the opportunity to then lift off the bracket and revolve the exhaust so that we can access the bolts holding the bracket to the exhaust. So I'm going to take off the exhaust sensor, and before I do that, I'm going to undo the wiring to it. Now with a 22mm spanner, we'll just undo that sensor. There you go, it's slack now, and I can turn it out without the wire actually twisting. Now be careful, do not touch the end of the sensor because it's quite, well, shall we say, sensitive, and you don't be resetting things on your system, so be careful with that. Remove the manifold nuts. There's 2 of them there, they're 10mm, and you'll need an extension to get to that. So I'll just spin those 2 off now from under here. Now with the manifold undone, I'm going to take this top bolt out. That's got to be removed, and these 2, which have already slackened, now allow me to lift the exhaust away, to turn it over to undo these 2 bolts here. Having removed the bracket and the manifold pipe, it's given me an opportunity to have a look at what the actual scraping has done. And if you can see, and it might be difficult, there's a very small amount of abrasion there, hardly noticeable, and certainly not something that would worry me at all. So I think to have this whole system renewed, for what most companies I think would have ignored, again is a sign of the quality of the company that makes Scorpion. Looking at the 2 brackets, as you can see, the new one, which is the top one, appears to have a little bit more metal in it, slightly different shape, and this is the old one, although they still pick up the 3 identical points, which makes me wonder why there was a need for a new bracket, but there again, I'm sure they've worked it out. Now here are the 2 manifold pipes, and you can see the shiny new one is actually longer. I would have thought it would have been shorter, but I guess this is all about angles. So when we get it on, back on should I say, we'll see what difference that makes. Well, from previous experience, I've learnt to put the bracket onto the exhaust before fitting it to the bike rather than the other way around. I've just put these on finger tight, and I think what the big difference is the position of the holes in the bracket and the angle it then holds the actual exhaust at. Now I've attached the manifold pipe to the manifold with the two nuts, but I've only made them finger tight, so there's plenty of movement in that to allow me to fit the exhaust end into there and then hang them on the bracket. So fairly straightforward to do that. This fit here, where the manifold pipe fits into the exhaust, is a fantastically engineered fit. It's a push fit, it's like an interference fit, but certainly it gives you a lot of confidence that there'll be little or no leakage out of that joint itself. I've then managed to hang it back onto the frame of the bike, and I'm just going to tighten all these bolts up now to fasten it into place. Now I've tightened all the nuts and bolts up, replaced the sensor, and just give it a quick try there, and it's got back its lovely throaty roar. So that seems to have raised the tip here higher, and hopefully, and I guess I won't have any issues with it touching down at all. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you when I do the next video.